Yeah, what up? Triple B Base Boxing Basement. Like, subscribe if you like what you see. Right, so I've just watched Tommy Fletcher. Tommy Fletcher, the cruiserweight hope. I think it's his seventh fight against Alvaro Terrero. You know what I like? I'm watching the two shows at the same time. Day Zone, The Zone, we've got a show. Dead Zone, and Queensberry, on which is Fish Eyes, his show, Frank Warren's show, on TNT Sports, formerly BT Sports. Now, what I like, I'm watching the Queensberry show because I think the fights are likely to be better, or at least the names are better. You know, Yarde, Fletcher, you get me? I think Noakes is on it. And the main events, of course, Hamza Shiraz, Liam Williams. This is way better than the Dead Zone show. And of course, Frankie Fish Eyes don't like no women's fights. He doesn't really, I don't even know if he's got any women. He probably has. Probably has to have had. But there's none on this show, whereas, of course, the Eddie Hearn show has. So I'm watching this live, right? And yeah, Tommy Fletcher, the cruiserweight prospect, yeah. Some people say, I don't know whether their tongue was in cheek, he's a white Deontay Wilder. I don't know about that. I don't think he's actually white. I think he's mixed, yeah? You know, he's probably like 75% white. You know, like Nico Ali Walsh. No one calls Ali Walsh white, even though he is white skinned. Anyway, I don't know. This is not a racialistical channel. This is a boxing channel. So we talk about that fight. And you know the thing is, so Tommy Fletcher, yeah, the Norfolk Nightmare, 6'7", 22 years old, and a southpaw. Yeah, I mean, you know, come on, man. You got to like a prospect like that. Obviously, later on, we got to think. I mean, he can punch too. So now, well, he came in with 6 wins and 5 KOs. You know, I didn't give Terrero much chance. He moved okay actually at times, Terrero. You know, and obviously Fletcher's kind of awkward, but he's very tall. He's lanky, isn't he? He's quite patient. And all the commentaries will talk about the long levers he's got. It's funny. It makes me, every time it amuses me, and I say this again and again and again, that they become cliches come out in all sports, in boxing, in any program, and they start to get overused all the time. No one talked about long levers in the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s. Now they all do. Yeah? No one used to call videos content. Now they all do. That's so bizarre. And no one used to say in the pocket, did they, in the UK? Let me say in the pocket. In the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. All these kind of expressions come in, and what people do is copy them. And cliches. Yeah, I was cool, calm, and collected there. Why don't you just say, well, yeah, I was cool, my head was cool blood. Cool, calm, and collected. You know, people need to be more original, right, with their lyrics. Not a Triple B, for example. But anyway, you know, yeah, I didn't see much chance at Terrero. He tried to throw the occasional overhand, but you know, it seemed to lack authority, and it wasn't going to happen. I mean, you know, so, as I say, sometimes these tall, skinny fighters won't go over, but Terrero wasn't the man who was going to do it. Believe that. And he sort of got busted up. He's, like I said, he's patient. Fletcher. The 6th round, he hurt him. Round 3, and he hurt me in round 2. You know, and the guy's legs went a bit, and round 3, he just carried on busting him up, and he bust up his nose. You know, the nose started to... It wasn't that bad. I've seen worse, and I've seen fights go on, you know, after they cleaned up the nose. But, you know, this guy was going nowhere, and the doctor's like, nah, stop it. His nose is bust up. And, you know, female doctor, obviously. But, yeah, you know, it's still another decent result, you know. Obviously, you know, I mean, with all respect... You know, people lie to themselves. Oh, we don't see anyone get hurt. Yeah, no, oh, it's better to stop someone early. Blah, blah, blah. It's boxing blood. People will get hurt. It's a hurt sport. Otherwise, just stop someone as soon as they land a jab or someone's nose bleeds. It's just nonsense. You have to let it go on. It's boxing. And, you know, and man, people don't start to get into boxing because they like to see someone use their jab and outpoint someone. They like to see people get flattened blood. And that's the reality. But so, yeah, this guy weren't flattened by Tommy, which is lucky for him, to be honest. He's lucky his nose went. Daniel Dubum's on the TV right now. Yeah, quite like Dubum. But, yeah. Oh, and I just saw an advert on... Hannah Rankin gave Dubum a big hug. Maybe she'll play her bassoon. Maybe she wants some of Dubum's Corey. Say, look, I know your last girlfriend had a long ting between the legs, but I don't. Yeah, but anyway... Yeah, the other thing they played as an advert for the army. You know, we said it. They held these PC adverts for the army, right? You know when they want to get people to war, it all starts to change. It all starts to be about fighting, and all right, all the participants suddenly become the white men because they're the people. The white guys in the U.S. Army and UK Army, they're the people that do the business. You feel me? They're the tough, especially America, the tough country boys. Anyway, this is a boxing channel. So, yeah. Yeah, and afterwards, the interview with Tommy, he's 22, he's a Ute, man, but he seemed quite likable, laid back. I'm going to keep icing them, he said. That's fair enough. And they talked about this Alois Yumbi Jr., who's a big banger who was on the bill. He banged someone out in 60 seconds with 2 knockdowns. There was allegedly some back and forth. They're both the same weight. Alois looks muscular and hard hitting. I mean, can't believe that. I mean, they're both warrant fighters. I can't believe they can put them in now. There has to be a title at stake. It'll be, and usually if you've got two good fighters, you're only going to put them in against each other because you'll lose one if there's big money. So it's got, so that's not going to happen soon. They're just talking it up right now. And this Alois was on the bill actually earlier. As I said, he bust up someone in 60 seconds. He got big power. Every win he's got is by knockout, except, funnily enough, except his first fight. He's had 7 fights now, but his first fight he lost some points, only by 1 point. I haven't seen the fight, but only by 1 point against a Polish guy, I think, called Michael. I don't know how to pronounce Polish name, Sozinski or something. Now this Michael Sozinski was 1-0 at the time, and now he's still unbeaten at 8 wins with 5 KOs, and that's really interesting. Quite a tough fight for a pro. So debut, I would read much into that. He lost by 1 point, so whatever, man. And like we said, there are plenty of good fighters that lost some early fights. Joe Bugner got KO'd in a round in his first fight. Hopkins, people like that, lost fights early on. Marvelous Marvin Hagler. So, he lost by 1 point to an unbeaten prospect. Now, yeah, feel that? So anyway, yeah, and what else? Yeah, Tommy Fletcher said, I'm just going to keep knocking these mother crushers out. You know what he really said. Of course, then he had to hear like 30 seconds of him apologizing for the language. Come on, blood. This is the fight game. This should be like a 15 anyway, right? If you think about it. I mean, it's weird. Like, any kid can watch someone get absolutely battered, assault. If this was outside the ring, 2 guys on the street, this is like GBH, some of these things. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Oh, but you're not allowed to swear, of course. That's ridiculous. But yeah, and there's this guy, real fruit. I don't know who he is. He used to be a Blue Peter presenter or something. This he looks like a teenager with a big afro. Someone told me his name. I've forgotten it. I hope he disappeared off the screens. But he's back again. It's this fruit. And he had the cheek to say, "Oh, sorry for the fruity language." And I go, "All right, fruity, bro. I know what kind of fruitiness you like, blood." Anyway, yep. I mean, it's a nothing fight, but it's always good to see these prospects take care of business properly. Yeah, and then we had Sam Noakes his Lee Sylvester fight for the British lightweight title and some other baubles that I can't be bothered to recount. Now, Lee Sylvester is unbeaten. So was Sam Noakes. Someone's O has got to go. Yawn. It's just another gear cliche. I hate that. but yeah. Noakes, very differing records. Noakes 12 wins, 12 KOs. Lee Sylvester 13 wins, 4 KOs. But sometimes if someone's a skillful boxer, that'll win you the fight. So now I didn't Noakes. I've watched him before. I don't know. I didn't realize he was such a big puncher. And he's definitely worth keeping an eye on. Lee Sylvester came out. Lee Sylvester, by the way, his nickname is Gypsyville. So I assume he's a traveller. And now, and he looked quite slick, Lee, on, dancing around. He's wearing his awful kind of gladiators trunks that Guido, the Corey King, Vianello wears, and Nigel Bum wears. No, not Nigel Bum. His son, Connor Bum wears. Yeah. But yeah, it started off with quite nice movement, Lee Sylvester. But even the commentary, and that was Richie Woodall, who I really like. He actually speaks some truth. Although I'm sure he has to big up rubbish women's boxing because otherwise he loses his job. But he generally speaks, he's not boastful. He's not over emotional. He knows his boxing. He speaks intelligently. He's one of those good guys in boxing. So even he was noticing, he's already starting to get close, Noakes. You know, he's already starting to cut him down, and that was in round 2. Round 3, it started to happen. Yeah, round 3. So, what's his face? Sam Noakes cut him down twice with body shots, I think. And Sylvester went down. You know, of course he got up because he's not a pussy hole like Ryan and Queen Rye Garcia. And you know, he made it to the end of the round, end of round 3. Now in the break, Steffi Bull is his trainer. Steffi Bull was a pro. I can't remember what he did. I think he was decent enough, but I can't remember much. But I just know him as the guy. I think he's the guy, isn't he? That twerks in pubs wearing women's underwear when he's drunk. Is that him? Yeah. Porky used to rinse him. Yeah, I mean, you know, how can I take a guy seriously in a man's sport like boxing? Yeah, if he wears women's underwear and twerks in a pub. Huh? Come on, man. But anyway, he said, look, one more round. I think he said he'd pull him out if he didn't win in the round. It's almost like, look, you got to show me something this round, blood. But anyway, there was no need. Gypsyville got battered and pulled down by the gorger, burnt down by the gorger. I'm assuming Noakes is a gorger. Yeah, he's with Alan Smith, who's a traveller. By the way, I've trained at Alan Smith gym years ago. I had one fight, I think, as an amateur. I spotted a British champ, a pro British champ, called Gary something. I can't remember the rest. Gary something. I felt really comfortable for whatever reason. Sometimes you just spar well and you feel comfortable. Other times you're awful. But anyway, forget about that. This is a boxing channel about this Queensberry Bill. And like I said, Noakes has got impressive power, impressive come-forwardness, you know, and he wants to stop you. And he doesn't swing. You know, he ain't that swinging kind of puncher. You know, you get a wild swinging puncher. You know, Ben used to be a bit like that. But it's fine. If you get them out, you get them out. You know, and Noakes doesn't look like a puncher. What I mean by that is when you see him, his punches don't look especially vicious, you know, stinging. But that's maybe the best kind of puncher, you know. I think of Wayne Alexander. I mean, you can see he could punch, but sometimes he just touched these guys with shots. And they go boop and drop to the ground. Or there's there was the other one, Golovkin, the Triple G. He's another one. You know, that doesn't have, you know, what they do is they just deliver their shots perfectly. So they put the whole body in the shot. So it may not move that far. They may only move 6 inches, but it's got the whole body behind it. Golovkin was super with that. You know, remember what he did to Macklin. So Noakes, yeah, I mean, no, I'm not going to predict anything at this stage, you know. But he's certainly someone to keep an eye on. And yeah, he's definitely a big prospect. Yep, and now on to Anthony Yarde. Yeah, Anthony Yarde. Lions in the camp. Yeah, Lions are in the camp. Anthony Yarde with Marko Nikolic from Serbia. Yeah, so, you know, Yarde is with that bum, that charlatan Tunde Ajayi. Yeah, Yarde seems more or less quite likable, you know, but Tunde's a fool, and he's not liked in boxing. He used to hang around London amateur shows and try and get everyone to sign for him, but he would, you know, he'd pretend to be their friend and then slag them off if you preferred the other guy. Scumbag anyway. I don't know how he got where he has, but probably by being black, you know, because black guys probably prefer to link up with black trainers, you know, and that's just the reality. And I got no problem with that. It doesn't bother me. They can link up with who they want. But he's friends with that bum, that grass, Spencer Fearon, which says it all. Tunde is friends with Spencer Fearon. These are two guys who don't have any friends. So I guess they linked up because they're like, well, no one likes me and no one likes you. So why don't we team up? Huh? Bum. Both of them. And the Yarde is clearly a PED monster, man. He looks like a bodybuilder, but he has heart. And he can punch. He gave Sergei Kovalev and Artur Beterbiev good fights, decent fights. Although he did lose to Sonny Edwards, BFF, best friend forever, or BBF, best boyfriend forever, whatever, Lyndon Arthur. Although he avenged that with a fourth round stoppage, I think it was. He has 24 wins, 23 big wins by way of knockout, and 3 losses. The Oppo is Marlon Nikolic of Serbia, 32 wins, 3 losses. So on that side, you're like, well, that's a decent record, but we need to scratch, but we need to scratch below the surface. Get rid of the, the crust. See what's underneath. See what the earth is like, the meat. And it's not good. 32 wins against bums, and only 12 KOs. A bunch of guys that I've never heard of. Unpronounceable. Good Scrabble score guys, mainly boxed in the Balkans, Montenegro, Serbia. He has 3 losses, 2 by way of KO. So he's been stopped twice. The only decent opponents, go and judge my records, have beaten him. 2 were unbeaten, one where was like 10-2. It doesn't look good. And I'm looking at him now in the ring. He looks old. He does not look in great shape. And my original my original prediction was Yarde in 6, but this looks like a Yarde in 2. Let's see what happens. Well, Yarde comes out, and the difference in physique. Yarde's got this great bodybuilder physique, and Nikolich's body looks old, untrained. There's a bit of a love handle type situation. And he's got a weird face, Nikolic. He's got like a boyish face, but a very aged boyish face, if that makes sense. But anyway, and it's obvious who's going to win from the beginning. As I said, he's going to do it within, I thought, 2 rounds. But, he was game, the Serbian. He was game, but he was never going to win. Apparently, he was really chuffed at fighting at this level, which kind of says it all, really. Even at the end, he was, really proud that he fought a top guy, the fireman Nikolic. It's funny, during the fight, I said earlier about cliches, yeah? And Dempsey goes, Yarde is cool, calm, collected. I'm like, what did I want to say that, man? Say something different. Cool-headed, with I don't know. There must be other things you can use to imply someone is chilled. He's cool-headed, chilled, relaxed, not always cool, calm, collected. Anyway, we knew he was going to win. It's just a matter of when Yarde wanted to open up. And he showed good shot selection, and interesting shots. But eventually the body is what took down Nikolic. Dropped twice in the second. Just beating the count, and he was game. He was always trying to fight back when he got up. Thrown back, he even landed some half-decent shots himself. I mean, there was no real power. And, landing 3 punches and then getting beaten up the rest of the round is no good. He came out for round of 3. And, the corner's like, come on, man, do we want it? And he's like, yeah. Again, game. But he gets dropped with another body shot. Gets up before the end of the count. A lot of people had taken the count on their knee. He wanted to go on. Obviously, he wasn't going. He just got stopped. I think even the corner called an end to it. So, like I said, nice shot selection from Yarde. Nikolic did not have a lot to offer, however, except gameness. Okay? And sometimes I think Yarde's power's overrated, even though he's got a great stoppage ratio, and he's hurt. He hurt Kovalev, although Kovalev was an alcoholic by then. Or maybe he was always an alcoholic, but it started to take its toll. But because sometimes he will land cleanly. I've seen this a lot. And the opponent just takes it. And there'll be clean shots, and you think, well, I expect someone that big a puncher to take him out. But, hey, if you get the job done eventually, it doesn't matter. So, yeah. Stoppage in round 3 means nothing really. I don't know what's happened next. They're talking about Buatsi Yarde. It's a good fight. I edged towards Yarde in that fight. I don't think Yarde's a level above Aziz. Although according to Terry Chapandima, Aziz was going to beat Beterbiev 2 years ago. I don't want Terry. Come on, Terry. You can do better than that, blood. But yeah. So, Yarde Buatsi, it's a good fight. I edged towards Yarde. I don't think he was right for the Lyndon Arthur fight. And right, when he looked poor. But, he knocked out Arthur in the rematch. And Kovalev, he put a great fight. That was his first, quality opponent. Put up a good fight. Hurt Kovalev. But Terebiev, people always go, it was a fight of the year. I don't go that far. There was never any time in that fight when I thought Yarde would win. Yes, he landed his shots. Yes, he showed heart. But again, there's nothing bad to be taken from that performance. But he wasn't good enough. But people that try and pretend, it was fight of the year. And the fight of the year, there has to be some back and forth. It can't be one-sided beatdown. And it wasn't totally one-sided beatdown, but there's never one point when I was like, oh, gee, Beterbiev might be in trouble here. Never. Anyway, Yarde Boazzi, hopefully. I take Yarde.